In the summer of 2014, a man left a strange comment under a hiking video on YouTube. At first glance, it seemed like just another story from someone who loved exploring the mountains around Las Vegas. But what he wrote would soon become one of the internet's strangest mysteries. The man claimed that during one of his hikes, he discovered a cave shaped like the letter M. That alone wasn't unusual. But what happened when he approached the cave was, according to him, as soon as he got close, his entire body began to vibrate uncontrollably. Not from fear, not from adrenaline, but from something he couldn't explain. He said the feeling was so intense that it forced him to leave immediately. He didn't go inside the cave. He didn't investigate further. He just ran. And that might have been the end of the story. Except for one thing. When people online read his comment, they didn't believe him, so they challenged him. They told him to go back, to find the cave again, to record it, to prove that the mysterious M cave actually existed. He agreed, and a few days later, he went back into the Nevada desert to search for it again. He brought his camera. He brought his gear. He told people he would document everything. But after that day, no one ever saw him again. His name was Kenny Veach, and what happened to him in the mountains outside Las Vegas remains one of the internet's most disturbing unsolved disappearances. Before his disappearance turned into an online mystery, Kenny Veach was simply known as an adventurous hiker who loved exploring the deserts and mountains surrounding Nevada. He was an experienced outdoorsman, someone who had spent years hiking through remote areas most people would never dare to visit. He often documented his adventures online, uploading videos of his hikes to YouTube. In these videos, Kenny explored abandoned mines, rocky desert trails, and remote mountain paths. He seemed calm, confident, comfortable in the wilderness, the type of person who knew exactly what he was doing. And because of that, what happened next became even more confusing. Because experienced hikers don't just disappear, not without leaving some kind of trace, but Kenny did. And it all started with a single comment. The mystery began under a YouTube video posted by another hiker exploring caves near Las Vegas. Among hundreds of comments, one stood out. It was written by Kenny Veach. In the comment, he described something strange he had discovered during a hike in the mountains near Nellis Air Force Base. He said that while exploring a remote area, he came across a cave that looked like a perfect M shape carved into the side of a mountain. Curious, he decided to approach it. But the moment he got close to the entrance, something strange happened. Kenny claimed his body suddenly began to vibrate violently. He said the sensation felt unnatural, almost like some kind of energy was coming from inside the cave. The closer he got, the stronger the vibration became, until finally, he panicked and ran away. When people online read the comment, reactions were mixed. Some thought it was a joke. Others believed Kenny had simply imagined the sensation, but many people became curious. A cave shaped like an M in the Nevada desert, and strange vibrations coming from inside it. That sounded like the beginning of a mystery. Soon, dozens of people started replying to his comment. They asked him questions. Where exactly was the cave? How big was it? Why didn't he film it? Eventually, someone made a simple suggestion. If the cave was real, he should go back and record it. At first, Kenny seemed hesitant. He admitted that the feeling he experienced near the cave had genuinely scared him. But the curiosity of the internet is a powerful thing, and after a while, Kenny agreed. He said he would return to the mountains and try to find the cave again, this time with a camera. Kenny announced that he would go back into the mountains to search for the mysterious M cave. He planned to bring a GoPro camera to record the journey. If the cave existed, he would capture it on video. People online waited eagerly. Some believed he would prove the story true. Others expected him to return with nothing, but nobody expected what would actually happen. Because when Kenny Veach went back into the desert, he never returned. In November 2014, Kenny set out on another hike in the remote desert mountains near Las Vegas. The terrain there is harsh. Sharp rocks, steep slopes, abandoned mines scattered across the landscape. It's the kind of place where a wrong step can be dangerous. But Kenny had explored these mountains many times before, so at first, no one worried. Days passed, then weeks, and eventually people began to realize something was very wrong. Kenny Veach had vanished. When Kenny failed to return home, his family reported him missing. Search teams were sent into the mountains. Volunteers joined the effort. Helicopters scanned the desert landscape, but finding someone in that environment is extremely difficult. The desert is vast, endless rocky valleys and cliffs stretching for miles. Even experienced hikers can disappear there, and sometimes they're never found. But during the search, investigators discovered something unexpected, something that made the mystery even stranger. They found Kenny's phone lying near the entrance of an abandoned mine. But Kenny himself was nowhere to be found. The discovery of Kenny's phone was the first real clue investigators had. Search teams found it lying near the entrance of an abandoned mine deep in the Nevada desert. At first glance, the location didn't seem unusual. The mountains around Las Vegas are filled with old mining tunnels, many of them dating back more than 100 years. Some are collapsed, some stretch deep underground, and many are extremely dangerous. It was possible Kenny had simply been exploring one of these mines when something went wrong, but the more investigators examined the scene, the stranger things became, because while the phone was there, Kenny wasn't. No backpack, no camera, no equipment, no signs of a struggle, no clear footprints leading away. It was as if he had simply disappeared. And then another question appeared. Where was the cave? Because despite the growing attention around the case, no one had ever actually found it. After Kenny's disappearance, internet users became obsessed with finding the mysterious cave he described. People studied satellite images, hikers visited the mountains themselves, some even retraced the exact routes Kenny had taken in his previous hiking videos. But no matter how hard they searched, no one could locate a cave shaped like the letter M, at least not one that matched Kenny's description. That led to a strange possibility. What if the cave didn't exist at all? Some people believed Kenny may have exaggerated the story online. Others thought he might have mistaken a normal rock formation for something unusual. But there was another theory, a much stranger one. What if the cave did exist, but no one else had found it yet? Before his disappearance, Kenny had uploaded several hiking videos to YouTube. In them, he explored remote desert locations, climbing rocky slopes, walking through narrow valleys, and sometimes entering abandoned mines. Watching these videos now feels eerie, because in many of them, Kenny walks alone through vast, empty landscapes, miles away from civilization, places where a single accident could easily become fatal. In one video, he even jokes about how easy it would be to disappear out there. At the time, it sounded like harmless humor, but after his disappearance, those words suddenly felt much darker. The Nevada desert is not a forgiving place. Temperatures can swing from extreme heat during the day to freezing cold at night. The terrain is filled with loose rocks, steep cliffs, and hidden mine shafts. Some abandoned mines drop hundreds of feet straight down. Others contain toxic gases or unstable tunnels that can collapse without warning. Even experienced hikers sometimes underestimate these dangers, and Kenny was known to explore areas that most hikers avoided. If he had fallen into one of those mines, it might explain why he was never found. But investigators weren't entirely convinced, because if that had happened, there should have been some sign, some trace, and there wasn't. As the mystery gained attention online, theories about Kenny's disappearance began to spread. Some were logical, others were far more mysterious, and the internet, as always, embraced them all. Theory 1. A hiking accident. The most realistic explanation is also the simplest. Kenny may have slipped while climbing one of the rocky slopes in the mountains. A fall in that terrain could easily be fatal. If his body landed in a deep crevice or hidden canyon, search teams might never find it. The desert has swallowed many people before, and it could have swallowed Kenny too. But that still doesn't explain the missing camera, or why his phone was left behind. Theory 2. An abandoned mine. Another possibility involves the abandoned mines scattered throughout the region. Kenny might have entered one while searching for the M cave. Inside, something could have gone wrong. A collapse, a fall, or even toxic gas. Some of these tunnels extend hundreds of meters underground. If Kenny fell deep inside one, recovering his body would be extremely difficult. This theory also explains why his phone was outside. He may have left it behind before entering, but again, there was no clear evidence that this actually happened. Theory 13. The M cave was real. For many people online, the most fascinating theory is also the most mysterious. What if Kenny really did find something strange? What if the cave he described truly existed? Some believe the vibrations he felt near the cave could have been caused by natural geological activity. Others suggest the cave might be connected to old mining operations or underground machinery. But there are people who believe something even stranger, that the cave might hide something unknown. Something powerful enough to frighten an experienced hiker like Kenny. As the story spread, thousands of people began discussing Kenny Veach online. Some attempted to solve the mystery, others simply shared theories. Maps were created, possible cave locations were marked. Videos analyzing Kenny's hiking routes appeared on YouTube. For a time, the search for the M cave became almost like an internet treasure hunt. But despite all the effort, no one could find it. And the longer the mystery remained unsolved, the stranger it began to feel. Months passed after Kenny's disappearance, then years. Search teams eventually stopped active operations, No new evidence appeared, no confirmed sightings, no discoveries. The Nevada desert returned to silence. But the story didn't disappear completely, because every now and then, someone discovers the original comment Kenny left online, the one describing the mysterious cave, and when they read it, they realize something chilling. That comment might be the last message Kenny Veach ever left the world. Even years after Kenny Veach disappeared, people still return to the comment that started everything. The short message he left on YouTube, a message that seemed almost ordinary at first, but now reads like the opening line of a mystery. In that comment, Kenny explained that he had discovered a cave shaped like the letter M somewhere in the mountains near Las Vegas. He described approaching the cave carefully, curious, interested, but the moment he got close to the entrance, something strange happened. He said his body began to vibrate violently, not slightly, not just a feeling of nervousness, but powerful vibrations that he couldn't control. The sensation frightened him so much that he turned around and left immediately. He never entered the cave. He never even stood near it for long, but the experience stayed with him, and eventually, he shared it online. What he probably didn't expect was that this simple story would lead him back to the mountains one last time. Many people wonder why Kenny agreed to return to the cave in the first place. After all, he had already admitted that the experience had scared him, so why go back? The answer might simply be curiosity. Kenny was an explorer, someone who loved discovering strange places. For people like that, unanswered questions can be impossible to ignore. Another possibility is the influence of the internet. Once his comment began attracting attention, people started asking him questions. They wanted proof. They wanted to see the cave themselves. Some doubted his story. Others encouraged him to investigate further. And eventually, Kenny decided to return. He planned to document everything with his camera, to show the world whether the mysterious M cave was real. But that video never appeared. One of the strangest details in the entire case is the missing camera. Kenny had reportedly planned to bring a GoPro with him during his return hike. If he had discovered the cave again, the camera might have recorded everything. But when search teams investigated the area where his phone was found, they never discovered the camera. It simply vanished along with him, which raises an unsettling possibility. What if Kenny actually did find the cave again? And what if his camera recorded something inside it? If that happened, whatever footage existed may have disappeared with him. Despite years of searching, no one has confirmed the exact location of the M cave. Some hikers claim they have found caves that look similar, but none match Kenny's description perfectly. The mountains surrounding Las Vegas are vast and complex, hundreds of hidden valleys, thousands of rock formations, and countless caves scattered across the landscape. It's entirely possible that the cave Kenny described is still out there somewhere, hidden in a place no one has looked yet, waiting to be discovered again. As with many unsolved mysteries, the lack of answers has led to more unusual theories. Some people believe the vibrations Kenny described could have been caused by natural geological activity. Certain rock formations can amplify sound or vibration in strange ways. If underground movement or air pressure created those vibrations, it might explain what he felt. Others believe the cave could be connected to old mining tunnels beneath the mountains. These tunnels sometimes contain machinery or unstable rock structures that can create unusual sensations. But the internet has also produced theories far stranger than that. Some claim the cave might hide something unknown, a hidden military site, a geological anomaly, or something even more mysterious. Of course, there's no real evidence supporting these ideas, but the mystery surrounding Kenny's disappearance has allowed them to grow. The Nevada desert has a long history of strange disappearances. Its harsh environment and vast empty landscapes make it incredibly easy for people to vanish without leaving a trace. Search teams can cover huge areas and still miss something hidden in a canyon or buried beneath rocks. Wind and sand can erase footprints within hours, and remote terrain makes rescue efforts extremely difficult. Many people who disappear in deserts are never found. In Kenny's case, the same environment that attracted him to explore may have ultimately hidden the truth. Even today, the story of Kenny Veach continues to circulate online. New viewers discover his old hiking videos. New discussions appear on forums, and every now and then, someone claims they might have found a clue. But so far, none of those clues have led to real answers. The M cave remains unconfirmed. Kenny's disappearance remains unsolved, and the mountains where he vanished remained as silent as ever. Somewhere in the desert mountains outside Las Vegas, there may still be a cave shaped like the letter M. Maybe it's hidden behind a ridge no one has climbed yet. Maybe it lies in a valley that hikers rarely visit. Or maybe it never existed at all. But if the cave is real, then somewhere out there, it may still hold the final answer to what happened to Kenny Veach. Until someone finds it, the mystery remains. In 2014, Kenny Veach walked into the Nevada mountains searching for a cave that frightened him once before. He promised to return with proof. Instead, he became part of the mystery himself. No confirmed sightings, no recovered body, no explanation. Just a comment on the internet, a missing hiker, and a cave shaped like the letter M that no one has ever been able to find again.